expecting Larry. He's from Mass Growth Capital Corporation.
Okay.
That was his state OTC.
Okay.
Been providing a lot of.
Do we need to be mic'd?
This is yours. Yeah.
Do I need to be mic'd? That's what I'm asking.
I
Are
don't
these for
know.
this?
Honestly, I'm not familiar. Is this the mic?
Okay. Do we need to be mic'd?
Is this the mic? Okay, cool. Is this the mic?
Yeah, that's a mic.
That just belongs to you. Can just leave
Oh,
it.
just
leave it. Okay. Sophia. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Just need to extend my leg here. Yeah, thanks. That has me right on the post. Sorry, I have a bad leg. It's okay. Hey, so I'm going to say they have this number here, so I'm going to sit here. And so I'm moving over. Yeah, because I Oh, I'm just, no, it's okay. Good, thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
On behalf of ACDOM, the African Community Economic Development of New England, and the office of our wonderful, kind, and courageous Congresswoman, Madam Pressley, we want to thank all of you for being here with us this morning for this wonderful event to recognize this important partnership and funding at the federal level. I'd also like to recognize Councilor Liu Jian. Thank you for working with ACDOM. I would like to also recognize our strategic partners. Abdul will touch more on that. Thank you very much for being here. I am told, which I'm very excited about, that ACDOM is the first organization to receive this funding at this level. This speaks volumes about the type of organization ACDOM is. This speaks volume about ACDOM's track record in providing vital services such as small business support. But most importantly, this speaks volume about the staff at ACDOM and about Abdul's leadership, sacrifices, and dedication he made to uplift minority and immigrant-owned small businesses for over 30 years. I don't think anyone knows Abdul more than me, even his children. Because he shares secrets with me he hasn't shared with them. I'm kidding, Kenan. How the struggle. So don't pick on Dad tonight when he gets home. For those that don't know Abdul, he's a software engineer by trade. At the height of the internet boom, he walked away from a lucrative career to start a nonprofit 30 years ago because service to others was more important to him. I saw him firsthand the struggles of juggling being a dad to his 3 wonderful children, being a husband to his wonderful wife, and a selfless public servant to his community. Fast forward 30 years later, I am honored to stand here as part of ACDOM as the Director of Civic Engagement and Policy advocacy, and to stand here with the same mentor who helped me and other children navigate being new to the U.S., Massachusetts, and Boston. Abdul, thank you for showing us what it means to serve selflessly. Please welcome Abdul to the podium.
Thank you, Saeed. It was a wonderful speech that you made. I'm a little bit worried when you said that I have known Abdul more than his kids. That is a very big, way to look at it. I really appreciate it. By growing with me, I remember when you and I met when you were in middle school. And you have been remained in my life since then. Welcome. Good morning. I'm very much delighted and honored to have today our Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley to welcome our center. This is a non-profit center which houses a lot of non-profit organizations. We are very much blessed to be one of those organizations, and we have been thrived very well since we joined this facility. It's a big facility, has a number, even our funders also share this facility. So sometimes it's a great connection when you have people who have this financial support, people who need that financial support, stay in the same building. That builds another. Can you hear me my voice or not?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry. So Ayanna, we really acknowledge to have you this morning in our center. Welcome to Esadon family. This is an organization for the past 20 years have been providing a lot of technical support in different fronts. I will be talking about later. I would just really wanted to pass the microphone to you. Welcome. Yeah, you have yours.
Well, good morning. It is so good to be with all of you, and I bring greetings from Roxbury Roots Montessori, which I visited this morning, which does dual English Swahili. Okay, so now you will tell me if I get this correct. Habari Asubi. Did I get it right? Okay. Habari Asubi. Okay. All right. So it is wonderful to be with all of you. This is really a moment of celebration, I think, that speaks to the power of community. These are the best sort of collaborations and those which I like to be a part of, because government should be something that is cooperative. These are the best sort of victories when they are community driven and government endorsed. I was telling the students this morning at Roxbury Roots Montessori that love is an action, since today is Valentine's Day, and we were talking about that. And so, Abdul, we thank you for showing love for the community each and every day, because love is an action. And we are grateful for your indefatigable advocacy. We are grateful for your labor and love. And this is truly a tremendous day as we come together to celebrate this $600,000 investment in our communities. And as your Congresswoman, I'm very proud to have partnered with you to secure these funds. And again, this would not have been possible without the close partnership and collaboration of folks around this table, our partners in the delegation, and so many of you here in the room today. Again, I want to thank Asadon and Abdul for working with our office to develop this proposal, for their partnership throughout this process, as well as their ongoing work in community. If you will indulge me, I also do want to take a moment of elected privilege to lift up the power of representation, not only in who serves in the office as the elected, but who does that work alongside the electeds.
And I'm very fortunate to have Sophia Abdi and Eddie Rupia, who helped to foster this relationship with Acedone. Again, the representation matters. And so I just wanted to affirm their contributions in the Massachusetts 7th in my office. So again, this morning we are celebrating and uplifting the federal funding specifically earmarked for Acedone's Small Business Development and Technical Assistance Program. These funds will be used to support the economic vitality of small businesses in predominantly low-income, Black, Brown, and immigrant communities across the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District, and focus on businesses that have been disproportionately impacted by the global pandemic. I will let the Acedone team speak to the impact of this work. It is a testament to the community-based, data-driven philosophy of Acedone that made your application so strong and made the case for direct federal investment. I can't underscore that enough. This is a very competitive process, these community investments federally. And there were many worthy organizations in this competitive process. But this was the most competitive in that pool because of your community-based, data-driven philosophy, which made your application that much stronger. The expansion of the Small Business Development Center will bring new and innovative opportunities for the East African immigrant community and our entire city. This funding is projected to create nearly 40 new employment opportunities for young people and individuals re-entering community after incarceration. The level of service and training, and most critically support Acedone, will be able to provide is exactly the type of proactive, holistic approach which reduces recidivism, addresses mass incarceration, disrupts cycles of poverty by investing in individuals and families directly. From financial literacy to skills training and hands-on business planning, Acedone builds stronger and more resilient small business communities. Now, of course, you all know this, but in that we have friends here with us today, I want to make sure that the broader community is aware of all that Acedone provides and exactly how this investment will be stewarded. From financial literacy to skills training and hands-on business planning, Acedone builds stronger and more resilient small business communities. These resources are direct investments in our greatest infrastructure, in my opinion, our people, our economy, our families, our communities. I'm so proud of the work we did together on this proposal here and believe these resources will be a step towards a more just recovery for our most impacted to ensure that we truly leave no worker, no family, no community behind. So our work continues. I'm eager to stay in dialogue about how our team can continue to advocate on behalf of Acedone and the communities that you serve. This is certainly no one-off. Today we take a victory lap, but we know the work continues, and so too does the fight for more robust and equitable federal investment. So again, I thank you all for joining us, and I'm looking forward to our roundtable. Thank you.
So basically, I think this investment that our congressman woman talked about, how it's going to impact our community. As you all know that it's not an easy thing. That amount of money will really help us, A, to really expand our TA activities to our small business, B, increase the capacity to provide. If you may not know that, before COVID crisis, Acedone has been providing TA roughly around 19 to 23 small businesses. When the COVID hit, really it hit very badly in our community, more disproportion when you compare other communities. As a result of that, we have been working so hard and increase that 23, currently we are providing 375 to 380, I guess, small businesses across the Commonwealth. Most of those small businesses, 60% actually located in the district that our Congresswoman really responsible to provide those kind of support. Roxbury, which is now Union Square, very much became the center for our community hub. When you look both socially, spiritually, as well as economically, that's the place that we all identify as part of that community. You may very much aware how things are quickly impacting in that neighborhood. Already, for the past 10 years, Roxbury lost 10% of its population based on gentrification. And now that's not going to be stopped, it's just keep increasing that gentrification, but also impacting now small businesses. We now have very much faced a number of small businesses are now struggling, and some of them will be here today as part of their testimony. We have that opportunity. So this funding opportunity, it's really helping Essendon to strengthening what we already have been doing to support, and it's going to be a testimony for our effort that we have been tireless, day in and day out, standing and fighting for our community just to have those economic justice. As you know, the gap between the races, if you look, the black child in Boston wealth being estimated around just $8 when you compare the white child in Boston, which is $275,000, to $250,000. You see the gap, it's huge. How are we going to be able to narrow that gap? It takes a lot of leadership, coordination, alliance, and we have been doing it strategically. So one of the things that have been very much organized, one is we cannot fight alone, we cannot achieve alone. We need to really mobilize, organize, build partnership, both the community who have the resources, the community that impacts the same situation, can we all come together and work together. This is what Essendon has been very much doing as an instrumental leadership, transformational leadership for the past 20 years. And I would be very much happy to continue that on behalf of Essendon family, staff, and constituents. Again, thank you for this investment, and I will assure you that you're going to be proud a year from now to see that investment will not be wasted a single minute. We're going to really utilizing it as we always utilize every resources that came to us. We have not been achieved for this milestone that we are today because we have resources. We have been achieved based on this is a cause that we believe. This is our mission, this is our community, this is our family, this is our future. And we seriously meant when we really say that we want to stand up and help our community. It's not something we lightly view people. You'll see that. It's a very strong mission. We have a community of very much resilience, and we have been illustrated for the past 20-something years to show every inch we can, to show how much we really want to help ourselves and be part of this community at large. That said that, we're going to have a panel discussion today, and I would like to give the opportunity to give the panel members to introduce themselves. Ivan?
I insist it comes
You
from
got
the start.
it. I insist the lawyer of the year. The lawyer of the year should start. Okay?
Yes.
So, don't do that to me.
Oh my goodness. I am delighted to be here. Ivana Espinosa, Madrigal from Lawyers for Civil Rights. I just want to thank Congresswoman Pressley for constantly delivering for the South. Your leadership is inspiring. Thank you for lifting us all as you go. It is just incredible. And also tremendous gratitude for the leadership of Councilor Jean and so many other people around the table, friends and clients of Lawyers for Civil Rights, Pastor Kiki from Haitian Americans United, Manu, and others. It is just incredible to be here, and I just want to say this investment as our economy continues to transform in response to the pandemic, and as minority communities experience an uneven recovery, this is exactly the investment we need. Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was going to insist that my daughter speaks as well, but this is the time. Pastor Jufor Florissant, Kiki, on Mutual and Center, HAU, and also represents the Equity Now and Beyond. So proud, again, just to be in collaboration with ASEDON. Thank you, Congresswoman Pressley, always stand with us, and especially with the thousands of new arrivals that we've seen happening on a daily basis in our shores, and the Congresswoman has been standing with us and to provide all the necessary accommodations for our community. Thank you so much in your office. Thank you, Eddie, for all the great work that you do toward this accomplishment. Thank you so much. And great to be with all of you, distinguished guests. And then I will definitely echo what you said, Abdul, regarding economic justice. Economic justice is also health justice, housing justice. It's also immigration justice. And that's what Equity Now and Beyond has been tackling, health inequities during COVID, making sure that our communities get access to the vaccine, to the education, and with the different partnerships that we have working with Healthcare for All, the Department of Public Health Commissions, they're here with us, and also the elected officials, as Tanya Anderson already, thank you, great to see you as well. So this partnership helps us so much tackle the inequities, but there is much more that needs to be done. As you understand that we heard that the COVID emergency will be lifted very soon, and we've seen our community will be extremely impacted by that, especially they don't have adequate health insurance, policies, and also those who are undocumented do not have access at all with health insurance. So part of Brazilian Women's Group, Alpha, Agencia, ASEDON, and Haitians also part of that coalition. We ask that you consider the lifting of that health emergency to continue to provide for our communities, because they will be extremely negatively impacted. And also housing, as you know, is one of the determinants of health that affect many of our communities. We would like to see changes happening within the city, within the state, and especially within the city, where even my son can't even remain in Boston. He has to leave Boston because of gentrification. Rent, as you know, is a burden for many families. We would like the city to consider the IDP. So by considering those that, I want that to be increased to 33-35%, not to 13%, so that our people can remain in Boston. I stop right there. Thank you. That's the end of my sermon. Thank you.
No sermon.
Good morning.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Ayanna. I'm from one of the small businesses in 1127 Arizona Ave.
Wonderful.
I want to say thank you, Abdul and his team. Today, where we are, still be there. So the reason we're still there, 1127 Arizona Ave, is Abdul and ASEDON, and I'm so happy you are supporting them. And Abdul is our leader community, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Can you talk about what an investment? Okay. Let me just say this. Right. There's already an enduring legacy of ASEDON in the hearts, the minds, the bricks, the mortar. There's a legacy of resilience here already. And that legacy will only grow. So I have two questions for anyone who has a business that will benefit from this federal investment with this community project funding of $635,000. How will this best support you in your business? And then, Abdul, at some point, I would love to hear, because we care a lot about metrics, and we care a lot about data, and we want to make sure that we're telling the best story on the backside of this. So how, in fact, will you be monitoring and assessing how this investment is being stewarded, and then what it is yielding? Because I have no doubt that there will be a tremendous return on investment
but we would like to be able to capture that. Also, I did see a colleague enter the room, and we will figure out some adjustments here shortly, but in addition to Councilor Lujan, who has a long-standing relationship with Ascadone and has worked very closely with them, I did also want to acknowledge State Senator Liz Miranda, who recently entered the room. We thank you for your partnership, your advocacy, your leadership. Thank you for being here. And so, I'll turn it over to you. Okay. Oh. Oh, Counselor. Oh, sorry, Counselor. I didn't see you. I'm so sorry. We're so fortunate to have representation at every level of government. And again, we're going to figure out some physical accommodations up here. We are thrilled that you would be here, Counselor. And thank you so much. And thank you for the powerful representation of your leadership in community and your long-standing relationship with Ascadone as well. Okay? And again, we're going to figure out some physically how to accommodate and get more people up here. Okay? Because we would love to have our colleagues join us. Okay? Yes, I did. I did. Okay. All right. Are we still waiting for one more person here?
Chris is coming soon, but
Okay. Counselor, do you mind joining us? You have to go? Okay. All right. Well, we just wanted to honor you and show you the respect of a seat. Okay? But again, we thank you both for being here. All right. Mana.
so
Yeah,
I do.
yes. So the question that you are asked in terms of how that investment will impact someone like Mana. So put aside for the TA and advocacy that we have been doing for that, we also know a lot of our small businesses, one of the main issues that they have accessing, loans. Based on religious belief, a lot of them don't want to really have interest-based loan. So because of that, they usually don't want to bother asking any loan based on that principle. Ascadone developed a new product of loan, which is a free interest loan, basically zero interest loan. We do just, charge a little bit fee for service for that. Ascadone already has closed 8 business loan. Mana will be the 9th person based on this investment that will be actually including that loan investment to her. That will help her to really expand business for that. So that's a direct, investment immediately passed to our small businesses. We're not wasting time.
Wonderful.
So Ascadone, I believe he will do even more because even before even he got this support, he was helping us and trying to get a bigger place. And when we got a quit and eviction letter, he was trying to stop them and he hired lawyers and call to call, and he was in a Zoom call. Even he was working, he was there for us and helping us. He's trying, even right now he's trying to get a better place and he's trying to stop them. We are like 7 business and women business law and immigrants, and we don't have place to go, and that's what a lot of stress is causing Abdul and his team trying to get it. I believe if he got this investment, he will do even better. And thank you, David.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Congressman Ayanna Pressley, for this wonderful opportunity to join you in this really, I think, important event. I'm Catherine Hall. I am the Deputy Commissioner for Population Health and Health Equity at the Boston Public Health Commission. And COVID hit us where we were the weakest in terms of health inequities. Our residents have long been made vulnerable by the systems from structural racism and the social determinants of health, and have high rates of chronic diseases, which, when COVID hit, really set us back. But with the help of Ascadone, Equity Now and Beyond, and many partners here, we were really able to get the word out on the importance of vaccination, on the importance of testing. We really need to think about this as multiple pandemics. The issue with fake information that stops people, especially people in our immigrant communities, from getting vaccinated is really harmful. I don't know if this is me, or my backup here, my backup band here.
It's opportunity knocking.
Yeah, opportunity knocking, thank you.
That's good to see.
So the pandemic really exposed many of our vulnerabilities, from having youth having to stay home and not having good Wi-Fi, to having them really become stressed and have mental health issues. So there are myriad issues here that we hope to partner with Acedone, as we have all along, to really help our communities. If we're not healthy, we can't have businesses. If we're not healthy, we can't have people come to our businesses. And so Boston Public Health Commission is working side by side with Acedone and all our partners to really ensure that our people are healthy and can do the work that we all want to do. So thank you so much for your contributions.
Good morning. First, thank you so much, Congresswoman Pressley, for coming here and for the support and the good news funding to Acedone and to our community. My name is Yusuf Yassin. I am a small business owner, both at Asia Foods, which is located at the ISPCC in Roxbury, and currently also.
Let me pause there for a moment, Yusuf. And I'm going to ask this of any small business owner that does speak.
Sure.
Please do what you just did and also promote your business.
Right.
and name it and what is the service that you provide, okay? Thank you.
Of course, my pleasure. So, so Asia Foods, and currently also we are opening a market, community grocery, halal butchery, and also a community gathering space, which is called Nubian Markets. My story with Abdul goes back many, many years at the Islamic Society of Boston in Roxbury. And obviously, the first real tangible cooperation that we get involved was during the COVID-19, which is together we applied for the Mayor's Resilience Fund. And we were the only halal food distributors in the city, which was a huge, that made a huge difference in our community. We cooked almost more than 20,000 meals and distributed to our community, which is really.
Can everyone hear Yusuf? Okay, so the only people providing halal food
Yes.
during the pandemic, when hunger and food insecurity is at an all-time high.
Absolutely.
And you fed how many families?
More than 20,000 families.
More than 20,000 families, okay.
These are really community members, who doesn't have, we have a lot of elderly in the community who are by themselves. And really, for us, it was beyond call of duty, beyond service, to really serve the community. And for me, as a business owner, if it was not the support and the mentorship of Acedone, today I wouldn't be in business, would have been long gone. The reason is basically throughout COVID, the place was closed for storefront service. So our main activity was basically through city contracting that was secured by Acedone. We're still servicing a couple of homeless shelters that we on daily basis prepare their meals and serves. So it really made a huge difference. So that was a launching pad, basically, if you like, for the new market that we are about to open. So really, Acedone is the heart and pillar of the community, which you don't find that kind of service from any other organization. So we're very grateful, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Yusuf, and thank you to the testimonials that everyone is providing here as to the impact of Acedone holistically because we all agree that the health of community is so much more than equitable access to delivery of healthcare services. It is an entire ecosystem, and all of these things are interconnected. And so thank you all for sharing, and Catherine, we'd love to hear from you.
Before Catherine, I just want to add one more thing about this. We also secure a contract that is providing meals for a shelter that is $350,000 a year based on that contract. And initially we had that contract from another nonprofit and we subcontract to him. By April 1st, that shelter will become under ESODO. So ESODO will have a direct contract with him. So that's going to be 10 years for that contract with the state. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
And I also just want to, I know it seems like we're just delivering a nonstop love letter to Acido, but we should be. Because very often we fight for the allocation of resources, and there is this assumption if you build it, they will come. Well, one, that's not true if people don't know about it, but moreover, and we're trying to work on this in our office, we know sometimes accessing those funds, for those that are in the greatest need, navigating even the application process can be so onerous. And so to have a navigator in Acidone to support people in how to access that which you deserve and greatly need, and that people have made sure to make available is so very important. So we thank you for being an advocate. We thank you for being a navigator. We thank you for being a man of your word and a deliverer on this day as we celebrate this investment. Okay, Catherine.
Folks, I'm sorry, I know everyone cannot be like our Congresswoman. Can you please speak closer to the mic? People in the Zoom cannot hear us. Thank you.
I usually don't have a problem people hearing me because I'm Latina, so I hope you guys can hear me.
Okay.
I am extremely happy to be here today with colleagues, with practitioners, with folks who have been in this field and really have contributed so much to this ecosystem. I do want to take a moment, though, to highlight the fact that we are in the presence of 4 elected officials, women of color.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm trying to grab the We're just trying to get a photo before she has to leave as a senator. Okay, go ahead, Catherine.
And I really want to underscore this moment because this is really a testament to the voters, the voices, the people in Massachusetts who have really are standing up for equity, and then we have our warrior sisters who are going to bat with us every single day and coming home and delivering. So I really want to make sure that you guys understand how important your leadership, your representation is, and how proud we feel to have you in these positions. So thank you so much for being here with us today and supporting Acidone. My name is Catherine Martinez. I am with Mass Development. We are the land bank for Massachusetts. I'm also accompanied by my colleague, John Endicott, and we're really here to talk about all the different ways that we can continue to collaborate and continue to be navigators, continue to be connectors. We can't do this work alone. And understanding that the coordination of federal, state, and local resources, the combination and the collaboration with our folks on the ground is really the only way that we're going to be able to deploy these resources. What's happening on the top is great, but what's happening on the ground is even more important.
That's right.
So I am here to make sure that we continue to be accessible to each other, we continue to communicate, collaborate, and we continue to make moments like this happen and not be a one-off, just like you said, Ayanna. And again, I'm very proud to say, with your own words, you see the people closest to the pain aren't closest to the power, and because of that, we are seeing really being able to move the needle on so many of these issues. So thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you, Catherine. As you said, what happens on the ground, and we're so grateful for you and your powerful advocacy and representation. Thank you for being here today. Okay, Chris, great to see you.
Great to see you too. Good morning. I'm Chris Smith, Executive Director of Boston After School and Beyond. We work with 450 after school and summer programs who serve 25,000 young people in Boston. As you might have guessed, Acidone exemplifies the best of that network in every way. Young people spend 80% of their waking hours outside of school. So when you think about closing an opportunity gap or more equitable education, you have to look beyond schools to think about how young people learn and develop. Alcedon has been a partner for more than a decade in reinventing summer school so that young people aren't simply referred back to the school where they might have failed a course, but they get the best of enrichment and academics together. That's now a research-based proven model that the Boston Public Schools supports. So Alcedon, there's a dotted line from Boston Public Schools to Alcedon, both in the community and in school settings. Alcedon was one of the many groups who stepped up when schools closed down during the pandemic so that young people didn't lose access to trusting relationships and enrichment, which they so desperately needed and continue to need coming out of it. And I think most importantly, they've been a leader in showing that good youth development is community development, it's also workforce development. So Alcedon is deliberately measuring the acquisition of skills such as critical thinking, relationships, communication, and perseverance. And I think overall, Congresswoman Pressley, as you know, that even alongside the economic development front, Alcedon is showing the power of what's possible through collaboration and perseverance over time. And with your help, we're now going to have our best summer yet with the infusion of federal funding to support summer learning in the community and in schools. And we hope to make that the new normal, the new baseline, so that young people can expect to have a great summer experience as part of their education, not something that's nice to have if they have the means and connections. But thank you for being here today.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Ritzi Louisiane, at-large city councilor. Very excited to be here to be part of this conversation. Congresswoman Pressley, thank you. This is probably 1,000 thank you for the ways that you show up for community, the way that you're showing up for Alcedon specifically with this almost $650,000 grant, which we know is going to work magic. Abdul, thank you for your leadership, for the ways in which you are constantly leading and pushing us as city leaders to show up and be in solidarity with African immigrants, with our Somali community, with Alcedon to really center you in the work. And you know, I've had the pleasure of working in solidarity with you and the business at 1127 Harrison, and with Yvonne and his incredible team, Lawyer of the Year in the House, for trying to protect, trying to protect our businesses that, you know, as I think it was Abdul, you stated, over the past 10 years, we've seen so much displacement as a result of gentrification. And that's what's happening to our East African businesses at 1127 Harrison. So I am happy to be in this fight with Yvonne and with all community members to really center the work. I did want to start off by saying Iskawaran. Yeah. Shout out to the importance of representation in the office, as Congressman Pressley said, my staffer Kodan Hashi. Also in the work with me is my chief of staff, Emily Holston, who has really also been centered in trying to protect the business at 1127 Harrison. I will also say that Catherine, just in sitting here for 2 minutes, we rapped about a business in Roxbury that is going to benefit, because we're going to be in communication immediately after this, from the flexible loans that you provide. So this work is really a collective. It's about all of us. It's about my sisters in service, State Senator Liz Miranda, who has a heart for Roxbury and for this community. It's about my sisters in service, Councilwoman Anderson in the House, who is working in partnership with me and making sure that we are supporting the business at 1127 Harrison and throughout Roxbury, right? What I love about my sister in service, you know, if you're questioning about who Pastor Kiki was talking about when he was referring to his daughter, it is I.
I thought it was me.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment.
Let me find out. You got a lot of daughters.
He got a lot of daughters. But as the first Haitian American on Boston City Council, with Councilman Anderson as the first African immigrant on Boston City Council, with State Senator Liz Miranda, the first Cape Verdean State Senator, the first daughter of African immigrants on as a state senator here in Massachusetts. We work in collaboration. We work in solidarity across the African diaspora. We are here in Black History Month, and we are stronger together. When we work across our differences and realize that our differences are only exist because of white supremacy. And the more that we work together as a collective, the better we are at finding solutions. As Haitians, as Somalis, as African Americans, as Cape Verdeans, it's all of us. As our Afro-Latinos, it's all of us working together. That when we talk about this wealth gap of $8 versus $247,000, we realize that it's not a reflection of who we are, It is not a reflection of our spiritual value or our moral value. It is the material limitations that have been put on us. Those are structural barriers that are not of our own doing. And it is every organization around this table, it is every business, it is every elected official, it is every community member who's responsible for closing that gap. So I'm happy to be here at this roundtable in conversation with all of you. Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you everyone here for being part of this work.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Fachiha. I am actually a proud new board member of ASEDON. I'm also one of the only Arabic-speaking small business lenders. I work with Ascendus, which is actually CDFI, helping people of color, minority-owned businesses, and immigrants. First of all, Congresswoman Ayanna, thank you so much for being at the front line of this teamwork. I think I'm just going to echo what everybody says. It's a teamwork. We won't be able to reach what we reach without a collaboration of many, many, many organizations. So from the bottom of my heart, the many hundred small business owners that I work with every day, thank you. We're grateful for people like you. I just want to give a small testimony about Abdul and his team. Yusuf said something about the level of technical assistance. So as a lender, I can tell you money is important, technical assistance is much more important. And having a technical assistant that is actually builds the cultural gap. Like the people that Abdul and his team work with, not only they don't have like the financial knowledge, but also there's a lot of cultural barriers that ASEDON is actually working on gapping or like working on shortening that gap. I can tell of the great work that we did together during the PPP, where we work in Ramadan 2020. And we were emailing back and forth at 4 a.m. in the morning. They were at the mosque helping people get PPP. 4 a.m. in the morning. Who does that? And if it wasn't for you, where's Hassan? If it wasn't for you guys, those people would never know what PPP and they would never have that much needed money. Thank you so much for all of this.
Abdul, before we transition to our press conference, is there anything else that you wanted to speak to in terms of the investment of these funds and what their impact will be, and also how you plan on measuring that impact and reporting that up?
So, in terms of the measurable outcome for this investment, if we continue providing technical assistance one-on-one with almost 100 to 150 separate businesses. We will continue to really provide a macro loan, 5 to 6 small businesses, range between 10,000 to 50,000. This investment. We'll be continuing helping the opportunity for entrepreneurs who may have a business concept but not really know how to navigate and able to make that in reality. We'll be hopefully hoping that helping 1 to 2 businesses as a new business owners with this investment as well. We will be continuing to also do a lot of advocacy in terms of increasing resources back to the community through the state level. Because as you know very much, a lot of small businesses still struggling, and a lot of them may not really know how to be able to sustain their businesses unless they get support organizations like ASEDON. And the resources during the COVID is almost evaporating very quickly. That means a lot of TA providers may not have enough resources when the small businesses still have. So we need to really put a little bit of pressure, to the state level to increase the funding if it's not able to sustain the current funding level for that one. So these are the areas that we are very much using this investment. And also continuing these 6 small businesses who are now in the process of eviction. Luckily, with the help of lawyers committee through Ivan and our city council, Jane, without their support, would be very difficult. Already, number of small business being pushed it out because those businesses didn't know where to go. But other businesses who have been connected with Acetone luckily managed to remain in the building based on that support. That shows you in the same businesses in Roxbury, Nubian Square today, those who are not connected, some kind of support services available to them will be pushed easily. Those who have organizations like Acetone will manage to fight, which that fight still is not over yet. But we're hoping that another issue that we face is the square feet now price in Roxbury are now, it's not really, they're talking about 45, 46, dollar per square feet in Nubian Square. So we have the name Nubian Square, but our community are no longer able to remain in those areas. Just keeping the name, but you're going to be out of that space. That's not acceptable, and we really want to help asking our elected officials to really not only stand up, but to make sure this type of things, as a policy-wise, will not be accepted, because our community certainly cannot remain in Nubian Square the way things are going. Already, residents have been pushed out. We are losing our young professionals who are coming from the pipeline, cannot remain in the city because it's an affordable housing issue as well. So housing, affordable housing, and commercial space is the key. One more thing I'm going to add, our Congresswoman, to really see that we're not talking about only commercial space to be increased and affordable, but we're also talking about ownership, those commercial spaces. We wanted to really make sure our small businesses should find a way to own their commercial space so they could be the anchor in their economic development based activities within their community. Otherwise, we're losing everything. So this is something that we are actually advocating and trying to really, propagate in terms of sharing that opportunity to our elected officials.
Thank you. Thank you, Abdul, for your candor so that people really understand the moment we find ourselves in. Again, we've been speaking a lot about the fact that we find ourselves in the national observance of Black History Month. Although we all agree Black history is American history, and that's every day, not just one designated month. But if indeed Black history matters and Black lives matter around the globe, and the entire African diaspora, then Black futures matter. And so what you're talking about, and so there's no Black future without Black health. There's no Black future without Black wealth. There's no Black future without that critical investment in our most valuable infrastructure, which is our people. And that is the work of Acetone and each and every one of you, each and every day. And for that, we are exceedingly grateful. And as Councilor Lujan was saying, continue to challenge us, continue to push us. And I won't talk too much about the landscape of Washington in this moment, except to say that I serve on the Financial Services Committee. And in that committee, we deal with obviously financial services, but housing, homelessness, consumer protection, student debt, and the like. And I'm very dismayed to share that under a new majority, the Diversity and Inclusion Subcommittee that was established under our historic chair, Maxine Waters, has been dissolved. And moreover, in the priorities of what the committee would focus on for the 118th Congress, housing and homelessness are not even enumerated. They have instead been replaced with an emphasis on cryptocurrency. And when Maxine Waters, now our ranking member, was the committee chair, we had 55 hearings on affordable housing. And again, we had a subcommittee on diversity and inclusion. That committee has been dissolved, and now with the agenda for the 118th Congress, housing and homelessness are not even named. And when Maxine Waters, as the chair, had 55 hearings on affordable housing, was criticized by our colleagues across the aisle for doing too many hearings on affordable housing. So I offer that to say that for the next 2 years, I will be on the front line in doing the work really of harm mitigation, while also at the same time seeking to advance those priorities that we know are consequential to the health and fitness of our families, our businesses, and our communities writ large, which is why the work of these community builders, advocates, and my colleagues in government is so important in this moment, because you will be standing in the gap. And we are going to have this investment and this steadfast advocacy at every level of government to ensure, again, that no one is left behind in this recovery, no worker, no family, no community. So we're going to transition to the press conference. I did want to say, I thank Councilor Louis-Jean for getting me all the way together there and making sure that the record reflects that the investment is $643,000. She said almost $650,000, and I think earlier I had said like $634,000. So we're not going to lowball this. If anything, we're going to round this bad boy up. Okay, so but we want to make sure that folks know exactly the approximate number there. And so we're now going to transition to the press conference. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the role that you play each and every day in community. And we're now going to transition. Thank you so much. And thank you, Saeed. Let me just say something. You know, I claim you as one of my nephews, okay? I claim you as one of my nephews. It has been wonderful to see your growth, your evolution. Thank you for always lifting as you climb, for reaching back. Again, we just appreciate you so very much. And another incredible representation of what comes out of our soil. You know, what we nurture, what we cultivate. So we thank you for your example. Okay. All right, let's get to the press conference. All right. Here? Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, we'll just move this one. Okay. Are we going to stay? Yeah, I see. Okay. Ready?
Where's Claire? Claire? Claire?
All right, Chris, Claire? Okay. Okay, wonderful. All right, we're going to, I'm not mic'd, but hopefully folks can hear me. All right, very good. So good morning, everyone, and just once again to recap, we are here to announce a $643,003 investment as a result of community project funding that we were able to secure for Acidone's Small Business Development and Technical Assistance Program. Again, I want to offer my heartfelt and immense gratitude to Abdul Hussein, CEO of Acidone, the entire staff and team, our partners across every level of government, and our small business owners for joining us today. And of course, I have to give it up to the best congressional delegation in the country, in my opinion. We would not have been able to get these funds across the finish line were it not for our senators, Senator Warren and Ed Markey. So we thank them for their partnership in helping us to ultimately secure these funds. I'm grateful to everyone in community who contributed to making this moment possible. As I said earlier, these are my favorite kind of collaborations. I think it's important in government that we govern cooperatively, and the best investments are those that are community-driven and government-endorsed. That way we are making the investments that are truly impactful, that are inspired, instructed, and driven by those closest to the pain and the innovation. And so this is a great day. This funding will help us to build a stronger and more resilient small business community, contributing to the overall economic growth and development of the East African immigrant community across the Massachusetts 7th, which includes majority parts of the city of Boston, majority parts Cambridge, all of Somerville, Randolph, Everett, Chelsea, and a little bit of Milton. In this moment, it is essential that we invest in the growth and success of small business. We know during the pandemic, there was some very negative forecasting of the solvency of our businesses and predictions as to how many would be forced to shutter their doors permanently. We are all very invested in making sure that is not the reality, but we know that we are in a very sobering landscape as we continue to feel the impacts of inflation and to do the work of economic recovery to ensure that no worker, no family, no community, no business is left behind. And this investment will help us to make real on that. It is so important that we are providing the essential tools to ensure that our community members are here today and the communities that they advocate for are not merely surviving, but are thriving. The investment of these funds is a crucial step towards empowering small business owners, their families, and communities. And the expansion of services is going to help us to, again, get to that goal of thriving. Financial literacy, technical and skills training, business planning, and other related programs providing the resources and knowledge needed. And as we've learned here today, Acidone is one-stop shopping. So we are dealing with everything from workforce development to small business development to legal services, to health equity and access, to food insecurity and hunger. You know, Acidone understands that none of us live in big checked boxes. We live in intersectionality. We live in nuance. We live in complexity. And so they are meeting the holistic needs of community members, and for that we are grateful. So again, thank you to everyone for contributing to today's success, for your counsel and partnership throughout this process. I look forward to our continued partnership as we work toward a just recovery. And one more time, I will affirm that indeed Black history matters, Black lives matter, Black futures matter. And now we'll turn it over to the CEO of Acetone, Abdul Hussein. Following Abdul, we will hear from State Senator Liz Miranda, at-large Boston City Councilor Louis Jean, and then we will also hear from our District City Councilor, Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson. Okay? And then finally, we'll close with a small business owner. We'll hear again from Yusuf. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Ayanna. My name is Abdul Kadir Yasir Hussein. Today, Acetone is very much celebrating. This is, to us, it's a milestone. This is our first federal funding opportunity that we received, and this is the critical time that a lot of economic stress that's going on in our community based on COVID crisis really exposed a lot of structural issues within our economic development activities. So this particular opportunity will really help us to strengthen our TAA, also give us an opportunity to support our macro loan to a lot of small business that we have. This is an opportunity that will not be wasted a single minute. We are ready to utilize as soon as we have that money available to us, because we have businesses who are waiting for us to support, and this is something that we are really continuing that. And as you know that today, the issue is not only addressing one issue. They are very complex issues that facing a lot of immigrant community, and they are very much difficult for them to navigate in a very sophisticated kind of system that's already been built in this system, that a lot of them may not be able to really find that path. Acetone really developed an opportunity helping our constituents to navigate through Acetone, those systems, and able to access the opportunity that they need to develop in terms of education, housing development opportunity in the future, small business, health equity, food security, and we're also developing and preparing the future young generations. These young generations that we're talking about for the future, their future is not now. They are not their future. They need now to have a good education. They need to really have an opportunity in early age as the youth entrepreneurs to have access those type of opportunity that they really want to build their small business opportunity in the future. So this is an opportunity that our Congresswoman really helped us very well. And today is the Valentine's Day, and you guys can see that how much this love between the Congresswoman and Acetone and our community are intertwined.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Senator Liz Miranda, really happy to be here. And on that note of Happy Valentine's Day, obviously it looked like a whole candy bar and all that. But just literally our representation as Black women in elected office, whether it's at the city, state, or federal level, is about leading through love and with love. And Boston and Massachusetts is the home to many African communities. Whether you're Cape Verdean like myself and Councilor Anderson, or Ghanaian, or Nigerian, or Somalian, or Ethiopian, this is your home. And make no mistake, immigrants run Massachusetts and have been for a long time. And it's an important thing that we not offer grants, but to invest in that technical assistance Abdul talked about, with free legal assistance, low cost or free loans, because that technical assistance for people that are running their businesses sometimes as the only person, or with 5 or fewer staff, allows them the capacity and the language access and the support to be able to not only get these funds, but utilize them on day one and make their businesses thrive. So thank you all so much. Very proud to be here today.
Assalamu alaikum. Isko Warren.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got. Hi everyone, at-large City Councilor Ruth Suija, very happy to be here again to thank the Congresswoman in partnership with Acetone of securing this almost $650,000 grant that is going to be really, really transformative for the work that you do here, Abdul, at Acetone. So I just want to say thank you to the Congresswoman. It matters what your representation looks like. It matters that there are people out there, like Catherine had said earlier, that we are out here working for our community, regardless of what that means. We're talking about Black History Month, how we are stronger when we work together. As the Senator was saying, whether we're Cape Verdean, whether we're Somalian, Ethiopian, Haitian, African American, we are stronger when we work together, because we realize that we both have we all have the same barriers when it comes to accessing commercial loans, when it comes to accessing residential loans. As Black folks, we face racism and discrimination in that process. And so having people like Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley standing in that gap, having ASADON really, as a Congresswoman stated, meeting the holistic needs of the East African community is crucial. Know that you will have a partner in me, in partnership with, of course, Lawyers for Civil Rights, All Equity Now and Beyond, all the different people, city officials and officers that are here. So thank you for allowing me to be here. Also, shout out to all of the youth of ASADON, the youth of Ubuntu Project. When we're talking about Black futures, we are talking about all of you. I have the pleasure of talking with the youth of Ubuntu Project. I'm going to have an ASADON community organizer starting in my office soon as an intern. The work is about all of us.
Good morning, everyone. I guess for the sake of African History Month, and it is our custom as Muslims that we not expose or not talk about our deeds or what we are doing in terms of work. We say we're doing this for the sake of Allah, right? So, but it's also important in politics to be able to make the community aware of what's going on, or else how else do you know that I'm working? How else do you know that we're all working? First, I'd like to thank Congresswoman Pressley for spearheading this, and also to just you understand that if you get government sort of sponsorship or funds, that you're setting precedents for other organizations, other financial institutions, to say that this is a reliable institution. And ASADON, of course, is one that is very responsive and responsible, and that leads with heart, not only with feet and hands, but with heart. And I appreciate them. So for the sake of Black History Month, today I identify myself as the first African immigrant to be on the City Council, also as the first Muslim to be on the City Council. I never say I'm Cape Verdean, but that is my nationality. I am African. But I am a proud, nationally Cape Verdean, and sit here with you in a proud Muslim to say that I'm the first Black woman to sit as the chair of Ways and Means. And this means that, so all of these firsts, right, they sound weird, but when you start talking about them, you're like, oh wait, it's so important because I'm not the first. I just so happen to be the one before the next Muslim, the next Cape Verdean, the next Black woman, right? So, and so it's important for us to talk this way, but I did happen to move $1 million along with partnership with Councilwoman Jen. It was her ask to bring $1 million to small business in economic development office. I did move $17 million of ARPA funds and discretionary funds for the councilors, for their district, for small business and housing and otherwise. I did move $600,000 to returning citizens. I did move $400,000 to Black male advancement. And the list goes on and on and on. So this is extremely important that I am the first Black woman, the first Muslim, or the first anything. I look forward to continuing to partnering with you, the community, with Congresswoman Pressley. I thank you for allowing me to speak, even though I bogarted this, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the time, and in the spirit of us keeping it simple, I look forward to hopefully having conversations with you and how you can access the money. Thank you so much.
Okay, and now I think it's just it's very appropriate that we end with hearing the voice of who will benefit from this robust federal investment, and we would love to hear from you, sis. Thank you.
Yeah, so
just remind us what your business is. Okay, what you do.
Yusuf Yassin, I'm from Asia Foods and Nubian Markets. Today I'm very proud to stand here wearing ASADON's emblem. Obviously, the help and the support that we got throughout the last several years from ASADON and many other organizations in our community, we're very grateful. Representing the many small businesses in Boston, what I want to echo is what we started discussing in the panel discussion, which is having ownership of our spaces. This is so crucial because, as you know, many businesses closed during the pandemic, and some of them, they never came back. So currently, the gentrification is real, and the stress on businesses, the increasing prices, and obviously it's tremendous. So any help that can come from government, whether non-profit, for-profit organizations, organizations to support small businesses and help them achieve, their existence, ensure their existence in the square. Very important. Thank you very much.
All right, so now the moment that everyone has been waiting on. Now, who will get to hold this ultimately? But there is the money! Okay, I'm gonna come on this side. We're gonna do a quick photo, okay? It's okay, you don't want to play? Everyone want to come this side, okay? Come on, everyone. Business owners.
Okay.
Thank you.